So as I said up there, this is the morning of the Spring Equinox, so this is really special. But Annaghmare itself is really special because this is Neolithic, so this is New Stone Age, 3 types of Stone Age burial sites, and we are absolutely blessed in South Armagh to have an example of all of them. So we have the passage grave at the top of Slievegullin, just as Newgrange, the rising sun of the winter solstice lights the passage grave at Newgrange, the setting sun of the winter solstice lights the passage grave at the top of Slievegullin. We have a dolmen just outside Mullaban, and we have numerous court cairns. So they're all from the one time period. They are 4000 BC. These are older than the Egyptian pyramids in our small part of South Armagh, so we are extremely lucky. The court cairns were built, all of these monuments are built to the same pattern. So all of the court cairns are built to the same structure, all of them with this open court area to the front, where cremation certainly would have taken place. But also the thinking that these were probably used, as well as for burials, they were used as gathering places, and that people would have come here for different types of ceremonies. They're all built to a pattern of chambers inside, and those chambers all interlinking. So you move from 1 to 2 to 3. So this is a 3 chamber cairn. Any of the rest of them that you go to have been stripped. You'll see here that the orthostats, which are these high stones, all still intact, and all of the dry stone walling that joins them. So this court cairn is in absolute magnificent condition from that time period ago. This one also has, which isn't anywhere else. Now, the rule of thumb, they said, was that they were built in an almost continuous line. They ran from Connaught into Ulster, and that they were built in such a way that if you lit a fire at one, you could be seen to the other. So if we're coming in from County Louth into South Armagh, you'll hit Clonchagora, over behind the Carrickdale Hotel. And you go from Clonchagora to Ballymcdermott on the side of the mountain, down to Clonlum, which was stripped and used to build Killevy Castle, Clonlum to Adnove outside Forkhill, Adnove to Annaghmare between Mullaban and Ballick, on down to Annaghmare, and you're coming back out to Mullayash. So you can almost in your mind see that line, and it's on the low slope of Gullion almost, in that line. This is completely in the wrong place. This one has 2 additional chambers built to the back of it, which don't interlink from the front, nor do they interlink from each other. So you go into them separately from both sides. When this was excavated in 1963-64, the archaeologists said that the burnt bone found in chamber 1 and 2, and there was some bone not burnt, but that the bone found in chamber 1 and 2 dated between the period of 3900 BC and 3300 BC, in a 600-year time frame. Chamber 3 had never been used for burial, nor had the 2 additional chambers at the back. So you're standing this morning where somebody stood 6,000 years ago in South Armagh, that we have the proof right across this area of where our people were at that time. And there is something really magic about linking you to a set of people that walked the land before you. And if you look at any of the poetry down through the ages, that's what people are looking. They're looking back to where somebody had walked before them, in the footsteps of the people before them. Even now the forefathers still live. They are not overcome by the power of the whirlwind. The day that sealed their eyes, that did not conquer them. Even the tall boulder that stands over them casts only a humble shadow over their resting place. They are the great voices that carry the epics. The ancestors have come to listen to our songs. Overjoyed, they shake their hands in ecstasy. With us, they celebrate their eternal life. They climb the mountains with their children to put the symbol of the ancient stone on its forehead. Yes, the deep eye of the universe is in our chest. With it, we stare at the centres of the sky. We sing with anthems that celebrate the great eras, for indeed life did not begin with us. Isn't that wonderful? They didn't mention seeing any of the other cairns, but the one that they could directly see from here was the top of Slieve Gullion, which again, sometimes you don't need answers, and sometimes you can't get answers if you're talking about that time period. It's enough to have enough questions that gives you the knowledge that this one was special. Because all those questions about where it's situated, all of them had the open chamber, the open court facing high ground. This one doesn't. So all of those things with the additional chambers make you know that there is some special significance here.
My mother is a Ojibwe Irish lady whose Irish lineage comes from Cork. And it was my grandfather, great-grandfather that migrated to the United States and married an Ojibwe woman, and I was raised by my Ojibwe family on the reservation. And Fergal asked if I'd come out and offer a song this morning. What you guys are doing here is really special, and it's really meaningful, and there's so much parallels that we have even across the pond, if you will. We always remember our relatives. They say one thing about our human existence is we don't want to be forgotten. Nobody ever wants to be forgotten. And we come to places like this and we make our offerings and we say our prayers, and all of our relatives who've gone home, they remember us, and they appreciate that, us remembering them. And there's so much significance here with all these stones and all these trees. To our people, these are spiritual entities, and we call it the trees, the spirit that watches over the forest, the Mitigwabe Winini. So much of our way of life, our medicines, our foods, everything we were given as a people come out of the woods. And we believe there's a caretaker of the woods, a spiritual sort of entity, and we make offerings to that before we take our things out of the woods. In the stone we refer to as Asanabe Winini, and that's the spirit that stood up on our behalf to take care of our sick ones. So we have really significant rock around a lot of our burial places, ancient burial sites as well. The song that I'm going to sing, we learned as little kids, and it's like what you might consider a prayer song. And the words that go with the song, it goes out to all of the directions. As a Ojibwe people, we believe the east, the north, the south, the west, all of those are from where the winds come from, is how we say it in our language. And we believe there's spirits that sit in those places, and they watch over us as a people in our sort of human existence. And so the song calls out to them to kind of watch over the people and take pity on the people, because this is the tough life, so to speak. When we leave this world, we go to a better place. And our colonizers tried to scare us with words like hell and sin. And our old people would say there's no such thing as hell. And when we pass away, we get to leave hell. So I'm gonna offer this song for all of you, and I really appreciate the invitation and all Fergal's hospitality, and Elaine and everybody else who's been helping us. We got to spend the day yesterday with Des Murphy, and he gave us a grand tour, and so much of the history he shared and the places he showed us were so much in common with back home, so it's a real connection. It's my first time to Ireland, and I never had an opportunity to learn much about my Irish lineage, other than, you know, the little bits and pieces I'd hear from my mother. But I'll take off with my song.
That needs to come together to give us a complete picture of our histories. And with that, you reach deep back into your community. You can say the words of the Armagh, the first piece of written folklore that was put down in the 7th century. I am the wind that blows. I mean, we have such a rich heritage, but it needs to all come together. Not kept in separate bits. So the music adds to the history, the poetry adds to it, and all of it brings it alive.